Welcome back, everybody. Last Saturday, March 30th, was World Bipolar Day. It's a time set aside every year to raise awareness about bipolar disorder. This Wellness Wednesday, we are doing our part to further that discussion with Mary Jo Horton. She's the manager of behavioral health at Memorial Health. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about bipolar disorder. A lot of people are confused about what it is. They think they know, they don't know. So what is bipolar disorder?
So this is not where people say my moods just go up and down.
Okay.
When we think about bipolar disorder, we want to really understand what mania is. And that is a sustained period in which your elevated mood, your non-need for sleep, your impulsivity, sometimes some thinking errors happen over days at a time, and it truly impairs your functioning.
This isn't the switching up and down within the course of a few
that's
hours.
just being moody, right? That happens to everywhere, whereas we can just be up and down. That is very different than this.
Okay, since we're on mania, let's talk about mania. We have this up here. So it's more than the shifting moods, like you said. Elevated mood, which is sustained for days.
So days.
Days. And it impairs your functioning and causes distress.
Right. You can't function. You can't go to work. You can't have healthy relationships. You can't take care of your children and your life when you are just you're in an irrational state of thinking.
And you say irrational, that means you cannot control this.
No, you're very grandiose. Your thinking might even include a little paranoia. You might even have some thoughts that are what we think about as delusional and disordered. And then when you combine that with lack of sleep, and a lot of times some increased substance use, you're clearly not functioning.
You're up so high you can't sleep.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about episodes of depression, that next full screen we have. So it's more than feeling sad.
That is correct. So sustained periods in which your mood is low.
All right, not always present, but it is common.
That is correct. So if you've had an episode of mania, you qualify for bipolar disorder, except a lot of people also then have separate episodes of depression.
Separate episodes. So yeah, so this is not in addition to mania. This is not happening at the same time.
No, this is not, this morning that I was really in a good mood, and this afternoon that I was really in a bad mood. That's just kind of life.
All right, this also impairs functioning and causes distress.
And anytime we look at a disorder, that's what is the differentiation between I'm just going through something and I have a disorder, is it impairs my functioning. I feel so bad and hopeless and sad and physical pain that I can't engage in my life's events and just daily living.
Yeah, that's the depth
That's
of that.
the depth of that.
Okay, so symptoms for bipolar disorder present when in life?
So we want to look at your early 20s.
Okay.
Which is difficult because in your late teens and early 20s, you're really susceptible for lots of disorders presenting themselves.
Oh, okay.
And so you're going to start to see a lot of impulsivity, sometimes substance use, a lot of just erratic behavior. And it's different than just developmentally appropriate kind of late teen stuff. And so you really need to be mindful, and you need to have a good support system around you that can recognize when you're starting to behave in a way that's different.
Because it can be hard to catch.
Yeah, and you might not have insight. It's part of the illness, is that low insight, particularly when it first arises.
So your presentation of it, the episodes of it, that can all change over time?
Yes, absolutely. As the body chemistry changes, so does our presentation. What we see is as people get older, their depressive episodes are more prominent, more stand out more. And a lot of times over time, the manic episodes kind of wane into smaller periods. And it's actually very hard on folks because they learn to manage some symptoms and then their symptoms change.
Oh, and then they start all over again.
And they start all over again.
All right, I know we're running out of time, but let's get to treatment and interventions of bipolar disorder. So, early interventions and consistency are the keys to functioning.
Right. So we catch it early, we see that you're going through something, and you engage in consistent treatment over time. You're going to help maintain your stability.
All right. Medications, they are effective and requires partnership with a provider.
Right.
Do you have to have medication to treat this?
You don't have to. It's very effective, though. It's very difficult to manage. It's something that's happening in your brain that you don't have control over. Here's the key. How are you supposed to advocate with your provider if you're not taking consistently? You're not keeping records and data of how it makes you feel. When we go into a doctor's office and you're just trying to remember how you felt about something, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Okay, you need to be of the mind that you can keep
be a
these
scientist,
records.
be a data collector.
Okay. And then therapy is useful and can teach people how to navigate symptoms.
Absolutely. Therapy works.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What can you do? And how can you manage that? Really, the most effective treatment is therapy combined with that medication. And you don't need therapy years and years. It can be episodic as you need it, but it works.
Okay. And lastly, lean into hope as treatment works and recovery occurs daily.
People recover every day. People increase their functioning. It is one of the joys of what I get to do every day. I love that people get better. So let us remember not to be scared of something. Learn about it, learn yourself, and find the things that work for you.
And that's why we have these discussions.
Yes, absolutely.
Mary Jo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Tina.
Edward, thank you. Up next.